This is a scary story about the wife and kid. There was a man who was working a long shift at work. He couldn't wait to go home and see his wife and kid. When he finally got out of work, he rushed home. There was a lot of traffic, so it took him longer to get home than he expected. When he eventually got to his house, he opened the front door and saw his wife on the floor cradling their kid. The man didn't know what was more frightening, seeing his dead wife and kid on the ground, or knowing that somebody broke into his house and placed their dead bodies in that position. The man was completely devastated and never found out who did this to his wife and kid. This man was stabbed through his brain and he still survived. In 1998, a man named Michael Hill was stabbed in the brain while answering the door at his friend's house. The crazy part is all of his functions and conscience was healed within a week. But the knife did cause permanent damage to his memory, which is honestly the only bad side effect. To this day, this was the largest object ever removed from a human brain. The fact that this man did not die from this is a complete miracle. Just look how far down that knife goes. This is a scary story about Halloween night. There were two friends named Jake and Tyler. It was Halloween night and they couldn't wait to get free candy. When the moon came out, they grabbed their bags and began going from door to door. After going to a couple of houses, they went to this one with no decorations. They then knocked on the door and a man answered. The man then said, "Here, I have some gummy eyeballs for you guys. Please take some," with a creepy smile on his face. Jake and Tyler took a gummy eyeball and ate it. But they weren't gummy eyeballs. They were real human eyes. The man had a whole bowl filled with them. They then ran away and called the police. When the police arrived at the man's house, they got the scare of their life. In the man's basement was a dozen young boys' corpses in costumes, and they all had their eyes taken out. These are the most terrifying mysteries of all time, part 1. Up first is the mystery of Susan Powell. Susan Powell went missing in 2009, and nobody had a clue where she was or ever found her. But 3 years later, her husband killed himself and their 2 kids. Many people believe that he killed her, and he just couldn't live with the guilt anymore. So he took his own life and his kids. Next up is the mystery of the Jamison family. The Jamison family randomly went missing and were never found, despite efforts from law enforcement looking for them. But 5 years after their disappearance, all 3 of their bodies were found, with no cause of death. This is still one of the most talked about mysteries to this day. This is the Atlanta child murders. From 1979 to 1981, at least 28 children, adolescents, and adults were killed. But Wayne Williams, who was 23 at the time, was arrested, tried, and convicted of 2 of the adult murders, and was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms. The police connected a number of the child murders to Wayne Williams, although he has not been charged in any of those cases yet, and to this day, Williams maintains his innocence, even though the killing is completely stopped after his arrest. But the mayor of Atlanta reopened the cases in hopes that new technology will lead to a conviction for the murders that were never solved. People still protest nowadays that Wayne Williams is innocent, but to this day, we will never know for sure. These are the worst things that can happen at school. Up first is when you go to the bathroom and all the urinals and stalls are filled. This is such a bad feeling, especially when you honestly have to go to the bathroom. Then you have to wait in the bathroom and wonder what everybody is thinking because you've been gone for so long. Next up is having no date for prom. This is not a good feeling for the person who cannot get a date, and nobody in high school ever wants to experience this. It'll save you a lot of sadness and embarrassment. Next up is getting caught cheating on a test. This is arguably the worst thing that happened to you in school because it can result in a lot of different things, like getting detention, getting suspended, and getting a 0 on that test. And we all know how bad zeros hurt your grade. These are strange facts about the human body that will blow your mind, part 2. Up first, everybody knows what blushing is, but did you know that every time your face blushes, your stomach also blushes too? This is actually insanely crazy, and I don't know how I never knew this before. You have less bones when you die than when you are born. You are born with 300 bones, but by the time you die, you only have 206 bones left. As babies grow, their bones fuse together, and a lot of their bones are made of cartilage that just turn into normal hard bones over time. Next up, your body has enough iron in it to make a 3-inch nail. This is actually mind-blowing. Like, just imagine making a nail from the iron in your body.